Hi, I'm here with Mark Aspden, who is the outgoing CEO of Sport Hawke's Bay. Kia ora, Mark, and thanks for joining me.
Kia ora, Andrew. My pleasure.
Now, Mark, it seems like just the other day you started at Sport Hawke's Bay, but it's been a number of years, and now you're leaving. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it feels like the other day to me, but it has been about 8.5 years. The time's absolutely flown by. It's been a fantastic place to work, and I'll deeply, deeply miss it, but also feels like a good time for a change. And I think 8.5 years is a good spell for someone to be in that sort of role.
Yeah. So what is the change? Where are you moving on to? Are you staying within the Sport New Zealand family, or what are you doing?
So first plan is to have a break, actually. I realised when I was thinking through it that I started work in 1988, and I probably haven't had longer than about a 2 to 3 week holiday since then.
Oh,
So I'm really looking forward to finishing end of January and just having a couple of months over the summer just to relax. But then I am really keen to stay in the sport and rec industry, potentially just doing a bit of consulting type work for a while and just see what that looks like.
so you'll remain in the Bay at this
I will.
stage?
I
Oh, good,
will.
good. So we're not losing you. That's good. Um, yeah. So now, tell us about Sport Hawke's Bay and what you have been doing. What was your role within Sport Hawke's Bay? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess it has been a time of change, as you'd expect, over a period of 8 years. Our focus, although our title is Sport Hawke's Bay, which immediately, I guess, might give people one picture of what we do, what we're about is having a more active region and therefore a more healthy region. So it's a pretty broad range of things we do, but what we want is people to be more physically active. So we work with a number of partners, schools, councils, sports organisations, marae, just to try and encourage greater levels of physical activity.
Okay. And what was the state of our health when you arrived there? What was the sort of snapshot of how active we were?
Yeah, I think our region's health stats are reasonably challenging. We don't fare that well, even though we're a pretty sporting community. There's a lot of people do a lot of physical activity, but a lot don't do much at all as well. So it's a challenging situation, and probably mirrors worldwide trends, really, where overall people are less active than they were 20 years ago, 40 years ago, and probably on average not eating as good a diet as they were 20 years ago or 40 years ago.
Because now to the average person out there, when you talk about being active, they think, oh, you're telling them that they must go for a 5 kilometer run or something like that. What is active? What is being active?
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's really different things to different people. And I think, traditionally in New Zealand, it's been focused around a number of big sports, and those are still really important. But physical activity is whatever gets anyone up and moving. That could be gardening, it could be walking the dog, it could be mountain biking, but hunting. So we've got a region, a landscape, physical environment, which is really suited to being outdoors pretty much all year round. Possibly not so much over the last 12 months, but most years it's pretty good all year round. So I guess it's possibly a big chunk of it is finding people who are a little bit turned off by the term sport. And as you say, don't think, well, I'm not an active person, I don't like running, I don't like sport, but actually finding out what it is that will get them moving, maybe create that habit of moving a bit more.
Yeah, because I think also I just want to know in terms of how you as an organization, what sort of channels you are using to encourage people to do that. What are some of the programs you've got?
Yeah, well, a really good example is Healthy Active Learning, which is a Sport New Zealand led program, but in conjunction with Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education. And that's working with primary schools to, I guess in simplistic terms, elevate the importance of physical education in primary schools, which has dropped away a bit. So, it's I think got tougher and tougher running a primary school over the years, and things that aren't absolutely core can slip off the radar, or because it's just a lot that has to be done. So just supporting schools to bring that back into or reprioritize that in the curriculum in a way that works for that school's community. So there definitely isn't a one size fits all, but actually, how does your community like to be active, and how can you as a school support that?
Yeah. I'm here with Mark Aspden, who is the outgoing Chief Executive of Sport Hawke's Bay. Mark, just want to touch on a significant development within Hawke's Bay was the cyclone. It affected everyone. What role has the cyclone and that had on people's mental and physical health?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think rather than it's had, it's probably having and will continue to have for quite some time. And if people, again, it's something that's easy to drop off because you're busy, you're worrying about you're cleaning up your property. Now, I suppose it could be some little bit of physical activity in that, but it's easy for the sport and physical activity to fall by the wayside. But and obviously, if you're worried about loss of your business, your property, that's hard, or even loss of family members, that's a real impact on your mental well-being. And the link between physical activity and mental well-being is really well understood, well established. So again, supporting schools, for example, who have been relocated and so don't have their normal access to their playgrounds, to support them just to run a few sessions. Wairoa community really badly impacted. So, even just a little bit of funding via Sport New Zealand's Tū Manawa Fund just to help purchase equipment that had been lost.
Okay, and what else have you seen in your other programs? How have people responded? Because while they have been affected, there's a resilience in the community, isn't there?
Absolutely. And, sport and recreation, always survives, right? It survives through wars, it survives through natural disasters. I think there's a sort of innate desire to want to be out there playing, competing, having fun. And so community does absolutely rally round. I guess this cyclone coming on top of 3 years of COVID. COVID affected sport and physical activity, was especially tough, and it was complicated for COVID was complicated for sport because you had these rules that were changing. Not everyone obviously was a fan of the rules or the restrictions, so running a sports organisation became more complicated. So I just take my hat off to the very many people, mainly volunteers, who just have kept sport running through the last 3 or 4 years.
Now, Mark, what would the highlights of your time as at the helm of Sport Hawke's Bay have been, or highlights even?
The whole 8.5 years has been a highlight for me. But for me, it's always about people and just the opportunity to work with so many fantastic people within Sport Hawke's Bay. And we know the sort of people we want in the organisation, who are really passionate about making a difference in the community. So it's always a pleasure to come to work when you're surrounded by people like that. but also we get to interact with the community a lot. So I guess just building the relationships in the community with just such a wide range of people, whether that's colleagues in other regions, councils, other funders, principals and teachers at school, Ngāti Kainunu. It's just incredible people all wanting to help their communities. So just being a part of that is my absolute highlight.
Because also you talk about building relationships, but there's also been physical building. You've been there with the development of the regional sports park and that centre that's been built. Tell us about that.
Yeah, look, we've got some amazing facilities in Hawke's Bay, and it's possibly not till you go to maybe one of the bigger centres and where you assume they'd be ahead of us, and they just aren't. Our space and our facilities are just fantastic. So in terms of the sports park, I guess Sir Graham Avery's vision for that and execution of that vision has resulted in that, in adding to what was already a really impressive facility at the sports park by New Zealand standards, in terms of, already athletics and canoe polo added and so on, fields, top hockey turf. Then to add to that, high performance and gym and an aquatic facility has just been, and accommodations, just been incredible. So I absolutely take my hat off to him for that. Also, Pettigrew Green has been arena's been developed and to meet the what was a shortage of indoor courts. So again, really well placed. Both, I think the really important thing too to keep in mind is that's both to be able to cope with regional tournaments, but more importantly, to meet the local need for indoor court space on a week basis. So it's been some fantastic developments, and also important to keep in mind you can easily get a bit blasé about it, but the cycle trails that are 200 odd kilometres of those in the region, that just a great opportunity for people to be outdoors, whether they're local or from outside the region.
Because your main focus is the overall health and well-being of the region, but high performance is also an element of that. How have you seen that aspect develop over the years?
Yeah, we don't play a major part in it, but it's obviously a part of the pathway. And I guess there's two ways of looking at it. One is got to be careful not to get obsessed by it early on, and make sure kids really have fun and play a range of sports, and then look to really maybe specialise and intensify their focus as they get into teenage years. But if you look at the sports awards each year and see who's winning those awards, or even who's not winning those awards, there's some pretty incredible athletes come out of the Bay. And I guess this year, you've got people like the rowers, Emma Twigg, Tom McIntosh, Amy Fisher, and kayaking, Regan Goff, cycling. There's any number of people. Like Magpies didn't do too badly, did they, this year, playing wise? There's just across the board with generally putting out competitive cricket teams, Geordie Beamish, all sorts of people from such a wide range of sport. So that's facilities, it's coaches, but it's also a passion for sport in the region, I think.
And what would your message be to people in Hawke's Bay in terms of sport and activity and recreation as you leave?
Look, I think we've just got a fantastic opportunity. We've got weather, we've got facilities, we've got geography that allows us to be outside, being active. My message would be, find the thing that's your passion or that you really enjoy doing, and just give it a go and do a little bit more tomorrow than you did today. And whatever that means for you, that'll be really positive. The effects on your well-being will be great, and there's nothing to lose, so just go and do it.
Mark Aspden, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the break and good luck with any future ventures.
My pleasure, Andrew. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you.